We'll be back to this brand new video. In this video, we're going to be looking at another coding challenge. This challenge is called almost increasing sequence. Though I named it increasing sequence, I didn't want to have a very long file name here, so I decided to call it an increasing sequence. But in actual sense, it's called an almost increasing sequence. That's the name of the challenge. So what does this challenge require of us? This challenge requires us to create a function that receives a sequence of numbers. So let us first go through these instructions so that we can best understand what we're going to be doing in this challenge. So here the telling us, given a sequence of integers as an array, determine whether it is possible to obtain a strictly increasing sequence by removing not, let me call it not more than one element from an array. Note, sequence A0, A1 up to AN is considered to be a strictly increasing sequence if A0 is less than A1 and A1 is less than AN. Sequence containing only one element is also considered to be strictly increasing. So that this line implies, this line tells us that when we're having a sequence of numbers, and in that number only having only one element, so that will be considered also a strictly increasing sequence since we're having only one number. Okay, so here we're having an example. For example, we can look at this sequence whereby having 1 3 2 1. The output of this should be false. This is because no one element in this array can be removed in order to get the strictly increasing sequence. So what does this line imply? This line implies that when you try to remove any number from this sequence, you want to obtain a strictly increasing sequence. For example, if I tried removing 1, this first one here you're seeing here, I won't have a strictly increasing sequence because I'll be having a 3, then a 2, then a 1. This isn't a strictly increasing sequence. Or if I tried removing a 1 at the end here, I will still not be getting a strictly increasing sequence. Okay, sorry for that. Because I'll be having a 1, a 3, and a 2. Okay. So if I try again removing a 3, no, if I try removing a 2 here, still it won't be strictly increasing sequence. And remember the condition is that you should be removing only one element from the array. So you have to be removing one element in order to obtain a strictly increasing sequence. Okay. So here they are telling us that there is no one element in this array that can be removed in order to get a strictly increasing sequence. Okay, let us look at another example here. For sequence 1, 3, and 2, the output should be true. Because here if we try removing a 2, we'll have a 1 and a 3, and that's a strictly increasing sequence. And if I try removing a 3, I'll still be having a 1 and a 2. 1 and a 2 is a strictly increasing sequence because the 1 comes before the 2. Okay. If I try removing, what else can I try removing? I think those are the two options we can try removing to obtain a strictly increasing sequence in this example. If I removing a 3 and a 2, you obtain strictly increasing sequence. Okay, let me hope you've understood the explanation and the idea behind this coding challenge. Let us start coding it out, because by coding it out you get the best idea out of it. What I'm going to first do, you can even try to pause this video, try out this challenge and see. Then after that you can come back and watch the solution. Okay, so you are going to create a variable, a count variable that's going to keep checking, that's going to keep track with the numbers, that can be removed to obtain a strictly increasing sequence. So I'll create a variable called count. This count variable is initialized to 0, is equal to 0. Okay. Okay, so we're going to loop through. First of all, we're going to loop through this sequence. We're going to use a for loop. We're going to loop through the sequence from let I is equal to 0. We're going to start from 0. I less than sequence. We find the length of the sequence. 0 sequence to the length. Here we shall be accessing the length. Here we shall be accessing the number of elements in this sequence. Okay. So here we increment through I plus plus. And in this for loop, we're going to make a couple of checks. First, we are going to check and see. We're going to check. Let me try to push this a little bit up so that we can view it very well. Oh, I'm having a typo here. This should be like this. Okay. So we're going to make a couple of checks here. First, we're going to check and see the sequence. We're going to check the sequence and we're going to access a number at this index I. So we're going to check and see this number, which is at index I, is it less or equal to the number at sequence I minus 1, I minus 1. So here we're checking a number at position I. We are checking to see if this number at position I is less than the number before that number. What do I mean by this line? Here we are checking. For example, if we can take a look at this example here. Let us assume that we're having this array of 1, 3, and 2. So we are going to check and see sequence at position I. Okay. For example, let us assume that we are at position 1. So I minus 1, meaning 1 minus 1 will be giving us a 0. So here I'll be accessing the element at position 0. So you should be accessing a number before the number at position I. So this line implies that because we are checking and seeing if the number I'm currently at is less than the number before this true number here. If it's true, then we're going to increment our count variable, count plus plus, because we want to have a number. This number you're currently at should always be less than the number before it, to obtain an increasing sequence. This line should be true. Okay. If it's not, you're going to create another if statement and see, because this check alone won't be enough. This check here won't be enough to cater for all possible scenarios in this case. So another check will be, we are going to check a sequence at position I. We're going to check and see if it's less or equal to sequence, okay, at position I minus 2. So you're checking if this number is less than like two numbers before it. Okay, I minus 2 will be accessing like two numbers ahead of this number. So we compare that number with that number and see if it's less. On top of that, we also check and see if sequence at position I plus 1 is less than or equal to sequence at position I minus 1. So this line implies that we are accessing a number at I plus 1. We are checking and seeing if it's less or equal to a number at position I minus 1. If it's true, Then this will be at return a false. Return false. So this if statement will imply that we're having a number that's not here, we're having a number that's not maintaining our increasing what sequence. So here it will just return a false here. Okay, so at the end of the for loop, after the for loop, we shall just return our count variable. Return the count variable if it's less than or equal to 1. If this count variable is less or equal to 1, this will be boolean variable. Here it will return a boolean of true, meaning that this is a what? An increasing sequence. Let me hope I've explained it to the maximum. So here I want to test out our solution by console.log console.log here we call our function solution. Then we pass our sequence. So let me just pass this array, this first array here, because this has returned as a false value. First have succeeded in this challenge. Okay, let us execute run Node.js terminal. Oh, sorry for this. Let me first clear this console. Do Ctrl C, clear. When I execute node increasing sequence .js file. Wow, it's returning a false because this is not an increasing frequency. It's not an increasing sequence because there's no number here you can remove to obtain an increasing sequence. But now if I put this other array here, this returns that which returns us a true value. Now try inputting in this array. This has returned a true value. If I put this array, then this check will be executed here. This will be true for this array. So the count variable will be greater than 1 or equal to 1 for this array. So this will return a true value because this is an increasing sequence. Okay. Thank you for watching. If we can make a recap on this coding challenge, was a little bit quicker also. If we can make a recap, first of all, we created a count variable that's going to keep track of our sequences that are increasing. We created a for loop. We are looping through the sequence from I is equal to 0, okay, to up to the end of our sequence. Okay, so we made a couple of checks here. First of all, we checked if the element at position I of the sequence is less or equal to the number before it. If it's true, we increment the count variable. After that, we created another if statement where we put a couple of checks also. First, we checked if this number at position I is less or equal to a number at position I minus 2, and a number at position I plus 1 is less or equal to a number at position I minus 1. If it's true, this will imply that this sequence is not an increasing sequence at all. That's why we return a false here. So at the end of the if statement, after the end of our if statement, we return count less or equal to 1. If it's less or equal to 1, then this value will be a truth value. The truth value will be returned at this line. That's why we're having a true value for this sequence of the array. Okay. Okay, thank you for watching this video. I'm going to put a link the coding to this solution we've been doing in this video. I'm going to put a link at the video description so that you can look at it and compare with your solution they're having. If you're having some challenges, you will compare with my solution and sort it out. Okay, like, subscribe and share this video. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.